Yeah, during those days when we were creating AFF, again, like I said, we we were the ones that actually developed AFF. Myself, Gary Dupree, Hoot Gibson, Carl Doherty, T.K. Donnelly. We were the people, John Robbins. I don't want to leave anybody out because I want everybody to get the recognition that they have coming to them. But if it wasn't for us doing what we did, AFF would have never been created. It's had nothing to do with USPA. Again, like I told you, they stole the program from us and they took it and ran. And to this day, I think, in my own mind of being around the drop zone, and I'm here every day, and watching AFF being used in 2015, I think the teaching has regressed and is not as thorough as it was back when we started. The reason being, I think there's too much stuff that has been integrated into the AFF program, which takes away from the basics. And that's what we learned when we were doing and teaching AFF, is we learned how to teach the basics. Those 4 things I told you about right from the get. 2 of them save your life. Pulling the rip cords at the right order, at the right altitude. The other 2 things that you do is you fall stable and you control your direction. And your directional heading control can be 3-dimensional. It cannot only be on a horizontal plane or a vertical plane, it can be on one in between. But regardless of that, it's only those 4 basics. And we taught off those back in 1980 and 81 when we were working the program. Since it got out of our hands, now that's, I think it has regressed. So the future of AFF, I think, is going to be one of I hope, of creating better skydivers with fewer re-jumps and producing 2015 skydivers. Not only skydivers that can fall stable and do relative work, but we're talking about people who go into doing wingsuits, free fly, tracking, tandems, all of it. All of this stuff is directly related to AFF. I don't know too many places in the world, in today's world, that they don't do accelerated freefall. They do it in most major countries. So this kind of makes me feel like I've really actually changed something in the world. Not only myself, but my staff that was with me. We have done something that nobody else has ever done in this skydiving community, and we have changed skydiving to a better way of training. So I felt pretty good about that. And in my world of today, what I'm thinking of is I need to, I'm pretty lucky to be alive anyhow after getting out of that balloon crash. And there's been quite a few more other things I've got away with. I'm not 9-lived like a cat, but I do know that I'm still here. So that being, I'm taking on a new outlook on the future of these young skydivers around here. I talk to them, I jump with them, I teach them things. I don't ask for any money. I contribute and put back into the sport. And these kids listen to me. And they understand it. They listen and they pick up this information and they use it, that it works. And it does work. And that's why here at Skydive Deland, we got a very good AFF staff that works here. And these guys are 100% professional. They teach off the same sheet of music. No instructor will teach you something that this other instructor hasn't, as far as following the outline of the teaching of the course, which is valuable because everybody has to teach off the same sheet of music. And they're doing that here, and they're really doing a really good job. I was really pleased that Michael Kearns called me specifically to give my version of the history of AFF. because I want to give that version of the history of AFF. But he said it's for the Skydiving Museum, and I was like ecstatic about that, because I seriously believe, and I know this for a fact, if one of us would die, we would lose all of that information that that person had and history value of what really happened. So the museum is very important, and I'll support it 100% in any way, shape, or form. I hope the people in the future that do see this and go to this museum gets all the valuable information that's comprised and put into this museum, so skydiving gets a really good reputation as being a professional sport. That's a valuable thing. The news media is our worst enemy, because they never get the story straight. They usually, when they report on a fatality or they report on an accident, one of the first things they say is skydiver dies because chute fails to open. Well, that's not the case. Probably 90% of the fatalities that we have are people who failed to use the equipment properly and put themselves in a situation where they die. And so now skydiving takes a bad rap, and that's wrong. So I hope this museum can help eliminate this program, this media propaganda that they put out there. So yeah, again, people can come to the museum and see how skydiving really is, and how it's conceived in the history, and also probably the future. All I can do is do my best for the museum, and hopefully we can get it done here by 2018, I think is when it's supposed to be done. It's been nice talking to you people. I enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Thank you very much.